Okay, Abdurrahman, I'm going to answer that question. So, the way that you phrased it was that what is one of the things that the scholars of pedagogy and research are focusing on now with regard to the student of knowledge? Pedagogy is the understanding of teaching methodology and the goals of education and curriculum building and so on and so forth. In research, methodology is very much related to that, except a research methodology has its own criteria. We don't have the time to get into those details. But one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the importance of having a structured approach to knowledge and being conscious of the structure that you're using. And being aware that the ulama or the scholars of the past, they had methodologies that they operated from when it came to writing and when it came to study. Really important. Before we're able to go into that direction, those scholars that are dealing with these higher level types of questions, questions that are higher level but have an impact on us, they talk about the problem that we have, the deficiency that we have in the study of the Arabic language. Many of us students, we're deficient in the Arabic language. Our level of mastery is not notable. And this comes because there's a breakdown in the teaching of Arabic in Arabic speaking countries. And this is well known to students of the Arabic language. The other issue is that with the colonial process came the enshrinement of a lugat al-darija or al-amiyya, or the language of slang. It became the language of the people, then it became codified, and then it became Egyptian Arabic and Lebanese Arabic and Yemeni Arabic. And the reality of Fusha, or the reality of sound Arabic that abides by the rules of the Arabic language and the usage of the Arabic language that's recognized as being considered fasih, or being considered to be clear and eloquent and refined and in line with the methods of expression that are used among scholars, the study of the Arabic language, because it means that now you have to study the Arabic language, but you're disconnected from its usage, the usage of the Arabic language that abides by the principles of the Arabic language, whether they're grammatical or morphological or rhetorical. And so that leaves the student of knowledge with a serious set of challenges. The distance between ourselves and the Arabic language is not as great as in other languages. Like, for instance, when we start talking about the study of Latin or Sanskrit, these are dead languages. We don't have the problem of working with a dead language before us. But the problem that we do have before us is how is it that we scaffold to get to a level of proficiency which is high level, which will allow us to really undertake the task of scholarship. The first thing is to have the focus on the importance of the Arabic language, and second is to know that there's a difference between Arabic studies in theory and Arabic studies in application. And that is extremely important to know. We can study the rules of grammar. It's another thing to see them applied, It's another thing to work with them, to apply them. We can memorize a grammatical text like in Ajrumiyya or Fiyatul Ibn Malik, but to apply those principles that are in those texts, it's a whole different ballgame. Much is can be said in the same line with regard to other sciences as well. But the other issue that is extremely important to understand is the importance of literature and adab in the reading of different genres, tafsir, hadith, al-qasas, stories, right, shi'r and poetry. To be familiar with the Arabic languages is used in media, and the difference between the usage of the Arabic language and media and its more academic usage and how it was that it was utilized in the books of the past and so on and so forth. So that takes exposure. But at the basic foundational level, we want to focus on what? We want to focus on the reality of establishing a foundation for ourselves. And that requires having a great respect for contemporary writers in the Arabic language, contemporary scholars in the Arabic language. And then we scaffold up to be able to study the more referential texts of the past. And we focus heavily, on being applicatory or practical when it comes to the issue of study. We get the theory, but then we focus on its application. That's important in the Arabic language. So that requires for us to read, that requires for us to speak, that requires for us to write, that requires for us to research, requires for us to listen. I hope that helps.